Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. I will ride with this group. Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Hottest Takes Monday on a Friday here after the Vikings continued their month-long win streak yesterday. If a couple hours of Christmas vent line wasn't enough, we have slept on the game. We have slept on the most important things, and we'll deliver our hottest takes here. We have a pie chart. But, Judd, before we do anything, Quick Trip seems like a great place to start this Friday Purple Daily here. Holiday season in full effect.
Let's make a stop there. Let's pull the car into the Quick Trip parking lot. And both of, as I do so, you guys are like, what is this? This is incredible. And I'm telling you.
Is this a gas station? Is
no.
it a convenience store? What is it?
A grocery store? No. You know what it is? It's everything that you could possibly want. Everything that your little heart desires. It is a lifestyle, and it's a lifestyle that you are going to want to live because, I mean, my gosh, the choices, if you're watching this, the choices are absolutely incredible. It feels like a grocery store, but it has the ease of a convenience store. And you know what, too? Since I know that at least Phil likes to allow his gas tank to get near E and push his luck, he can fill up there as well. Quick Trip, everything that you could possibly want, including you can put the app on your phone and you can simplify even more. You talk about simplifying? You talk about simplifying the offense? Simplify the Quick Trip trip.
You can also simplify if you got HVAC issues during these cold weather months. Simplify it by not DIYing it, Dex.
Do not DIY with your HVAC system. Let the experts handle it at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. My guy Cameron's been in my house a couple times. He'll be out here next month as well to make sure the HVAC is still working appropriately. You know, and they have so many different great options to make sure that your furnace is working effectively. They can even get the humidifiers, set up into the furnace. It's so dry right now. I got one running by Sonny's room. I got one running in my room. They have so many different things that they can help to make sure that furnace is working effectively, efficiently, and appropriately. So don't DIY it, as Phil said. Call Standard Heating. Contact them any way you want, email, text, over the phone. And they power our Hottest Takes, our second Hottest Takes episode of the week here on Purple Daily.
Yeah, pumping out the hot takes here. Also, Dex put together, Dex and I kind of tag team, but then Dex did the final edit on something that's going to drop this weekend because the Vikings don't play this weekend. And so this is the first time that we've been super proactive throughout the year in marking the various highlight points of Purple Daily. And we put together over an hour highlight reel of Purple Daily, some of the best and some of the arguments, from quarterback arguments from the Rams game last year after the playoffs and some other stuff. Just some funny moments. You're going to see that this weekend. I think we're going to drop it Sunday as we kind of put together our plans. So the first ever, we probably should have been doing this 4 years ago, but we get around this time of year and think, well, we probably should have been marking the moments back in June, July. But we did it for you guys, and you'll see that on the feed this weekend here. But, Judd, I think the last couple weeks you've done a good job navigating traffic here on the Hottest Take. So let's continue the tradition during this win streak. You get to call the shot. Who leads off on the Hottest Takes today?
Well, since you have the pie chart, why don't you go first?
Okay.
And then we'll circle back to you. We'll put a pin in it then and circle back to you for the pie chart.
Judd. I like Manager Judd. Are you meeting with someone at 2:00 to decide this lineup each day, or is this
I gotta look at my
impromptu?
I gotta look at my calendar. It's so swamped. I'm so swamped right now. I mean, management's tough. I have found that out. Management is really tough. I mean, you got to meet for hours, and then you got to get lunch delivered. That's another thing. We got to bring in lunch.
Who ordered the salads? Who ordered the wraps? I don't know. Just fend
chips.
for yourself.
I mean, we got too many chips and cookies.
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 Too many cookies.
Cookies. Oatmeal raisin.
Cookies. Oh, I love oatmeal raisin.
All right. Okay. I'll bat lead off here. And I'm a man of my word because at the end of Ventline yesterday, it was brought up almost 2 hours into Ventline, the what if scenario. And I'll frame it this way for anyone that didn't stick around for the end of Ventline. Boy, this defense has been so badass the last few weeks. What if the Vikings just had better, more consistent, and healthy quarterback play? Would the Vikings be Super Bowl contenders if they had such a thing? And the particular name that was brought up, Judd bristled at, as he continues to. But my hot take is, absolutely the Minnesota Vikings would be one of the 3 or 4 main Super Bowl contenders with Aaron Rodgers as their starting quarterback right now. And now that I'll advance the hot take, maybe even into a new hot take, which is now that we've seen the season play out, we've seen the defense click the past 2 months, we've seen how wrong the Vikings were when it came to gambling on McCarthy's health and how ready he was with Kevin O'Connell to blend together to create like a quick version of a really good quarterback. Now that we have the benefit of all of that hindsight playing out, I believe it's fair to say the decision to not sign Aaron Rodgers several months back has actually turned out to be one of the biggest potential missed opportunities in the history of Vikings football. And I want to explain it. I wasn't sure if I believed that at the end of the episode, but after going into the lab and doing some digging on this here, I want to lay a couple things out for you. And I think these are things that, again, with the benefit of seeing the season play out, the Vikings and probably Kevin O'Connell are going to live with quite a bit of regret. And the number one reason is the defense. The defense has been a wagon over the past 2 months. And I'm not sure people understand quite how great this defense has been. It's been fun kind of week to week. They're eliminated, but look at Harrison Smith doing Harrison Smith things. Van Ginkel is Van Ginkeling every single week. But since week 11, so the past 7 games for the Vikings, since week 11, the Vikings defense is number 1 in the NFL by a mile in yardage defense, yards per play allowed over the past essentially 2 months. Number 2 in scoring defense per game. Number 1 in takeaways now. Number 1 in fewest touchdowns allowed. They've only allowed 1 passing touchdown. It was yesterday over the past 7 games. And number 1 in opposing passer rating allowed. I could keep going and like show you all the categories that they're either number 1 in over the last 7 games or number 2, number 3, number 4, whatever it is. But you could make a very strong case that the Vikings have the NFL's number 1 defense over the past 2 months, which is more important than whatever was happening in September and October as they tried to figure things out, if they were still in playoff contention. I mean, the fact that their defense was a little leaky against Atlanta may have cost them a game. I'm not denying those things. But they've played over those 7 games, Dallas and Detroit fighting for their playoff lives as 2 of the top scoring offenses in the NFL, veteran, accurate quarterbacks, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, made to look like rookies who didn't know what they were seeing. Seattle, Chicago, and Green Bay, all of those were losses, I believe, but the defense played their asses off in those games. Would have been nice to convert a first down in Seattle while Sam Darnold was going blue screen of death. All of those teams are double-digit win, or the Packers, if they can get one over the next 2 weeks, playoff teams. So that's the beginning of the premises. Over the last 2 months, against some teams that are really high-end offenses that are, most of them are either playoff teams or high-end 29, 30-point per game offenses. You have the number 1 defense in the NFL over a 2-month stretch. So what is the level of quarterback play required to win a Super Bowl when you have the best defense in the NFL going into January over a 2-month stretch? And I would argue very strongly, Aaron Rodgers clears that bar. A lot of quarterbacks, quite frankly, probably clear that bar. Aaron Rodgers completes passes. He doesn't take sacks. He manages the line of scrimmage. He has a 98 passer rating, by the way, which is like 12th in the NFL. He understands the importance of running the ball. He would be pushing for running the ball in certain situations because he's not a passing narcissist. He's not checking out of run plays because the math is wrong at the line of scrimmage. I would also argue that we've seen this exact Super Bowl blueprint before. A dominant defense and a dominant pass rush that gets hot in the last 2 months with a legendary old quarterback on his last ride. 10 years ago, the Denver Broncos won the Super Bowl with this exact formula. Defense, pass rush, a little bit of a running game, and Peyton Manning, who was fluttering passes past the hash marks. It was our early days of the old Mackey and Judd radio show. And I would argue further that current day Aaron Rodgers is better than that version of Peyton Manning, who was throwing end-over-end passes and just trying to get into field goal range. Another thing, too, is Aaron Rodgers knows how to at least protect himself on a football field, unlike J.J. McCarthy at this point. He knows how to avoid the big hits, missing games. The last 2 years, ages 40 and 41, he will end up missing probably one game because he knows how to just get rid of the ball. He knows that there's a blitzer coming. He knows not to run and get hip drop tackled before he reaches the sidelines, etc. So again, all of this is easy. And the Vikings gambled on, we think McCarthy can get there quickly. We think he can stay healthy, and the defense will be awesome at some point. And like, it didn't come together as it should have. But if the question is, would they be Super Bowl contenders right now with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback? And should they regret their decision several months back? The answers are yes and yes. Fight me.
Well, as you know, I'm not a fan, but it's very hard to debate this. Like it's very hard. Now I think part of what makes this even more frustrating is that McCarthy can't stay healthy. Like if he had struggled really badly, but now he's playing this 5-game sequence, and let's say he plays last night and plays well, I think we're talking about a much different scenario here. But it's hard to debate the fact that, as much as I detest Rodgers as a person, he is a quarterback who could win, and he could get the ball to Jefferson, and he could get the ball to his receivers and not look lost. So, no, I would say, like, I'm trying to think just on the fly, how could this be like really flawed? But with what Rodgers has done in Pittsburgh, and look, I mean, he has probably managed games really well. Like that's what he's done. But that's what you need when your defense is this good. Now, Do I think that they could make a playoff run playing against the best teams? I don't know about that. But right now, they would be a playoff team. And they would definitely be, because of how the defense is firing, considered a threat. So it's really hard. It's really hard to take this topic and say, no, if Rodgers was here, he would suck, because he wouldn't suck. Now, it's funny, too, because does he do exactly what O'Connell wants now? No, because his arm's not as good. But that being said, I think I think Aaron would have had a big say in telling Kevin, calm down, we'll get it done.
100% would have.
And Kevin would be like, oh, you know what? You're probably right. And so I don't think that I think the friction might have developed over time, but for a season or so, I think it would be fine. So I'm going to give it to you and say that Super Bowl contender right now, playing like this with a quarterback who could get the ball to perhaps the best receiver in the game, or certainly a top 3. Yeah, hard to say no.
Well, and I know people, the name Aaron Rodgers is so polarizing and triggering for football fans, and
yeah,
you're watching him in Pittsburgh, and I think he still has the lowest average depth of target. It's a lot of dink and dunk and check it down, and he's not hitting the big. Lately, there's been a few more DK Metcalf things down the field, but not, to your point, not the level that Kevin O'Connell wants and requires. But Kevin O'Connell, part of this recipe of winning 4 straight games, he's kind of come back. He's been forced to. They have one of the highest run rate percentages in the league the last 4 weeks. So, like, he's doing things to protect the young and experienced quarterbacks with play calling and scheme.
Right.
And so, like, working with Rodgers to find the sweet spot of, all right, what can you still do? What they would have found that sweet spot.
Yes.
But I think if you were to remove the name Rodgers for a second, just say, because the question's less about Rodgers, it's more about this defense has been so good now this defense has been, over the last 2 months, what we thought and expected it would be for the totality of the season.
Sure.
And what is the level of quarterback play required either by McCarthy, Brosmer, or some other name outside the organization? You could throw Daniel Jones if you want to go hindsight, Sam Darnold in hindsight, Aaron Rodgers. And all I'm saying is, if this is a pie chart of reasons why the Vikings would be Super Bowl contenders if they had an extra win or whatever, it would be defense 80%, and then a quarterback that can just complete some passes, not take a sack on the edge of field goal range, and manage the game and go forward. And Rodgers fits that description.
But I think where it has to be, or where you've hit on something about the quarterback needs to, the name Rodgers is the most important name.
Rodgers.
Here is the fact that he took what, $12 million? Like, because if Darnold's back, he's still back on it's not an enormous contract, but if our whole discussion was about the rookie contract, right? It's not like Aaron's breaking the bank.
It's basically a rookie contract. Like,
yeah. So you would have him performing and doing Rodgers-like stuff at his age on a contract that you wouldn't be saying, boy, that's still a big one.
Yeah.
That's where it's intriguing.
So
I like it.
Little food for thought.
All right, I'll throw the ball to Dex next.
Wow, look at you managing the game just like Aaron Rodgers, completing passes.
Until I get mad like Ant, and now I've been ejected from the show.
We'll get to that on Flagrant Howls, by the way. My God, so many things off that game.
So here's where I sit now after with the game still left and on the season against the Packers. And I went back and I did some digging on this. Here's my hottest take. This is the most improbable, bottom-dwelling, 8-win NFC North team I've ever seen. I went back and looked. There has never been in the history of the NFC North a fourth-place team, and I know the Vikings are technically third, but them and the Lions, tied for fourth, tied for third. There's never been an NFC North team that's finished in fourth with at least 8 wins. And there's a world where both those teams finish with 9 wins by the end of the season. There's a world where the third and fourth place teams both finish with 9 wins. There's been a couple instances of 7-win teams, but there's never been an 8-win team at the bottom of the NFC North. Now, I'm not. Wow. This is not a rant against the Lions, even though I could use it in a similar context. This Vikings team, and Phil gave some insanely consistent and great defensive categories that have put them here, but this team has scratched its way to 8 wins while ranking 25th in scoring, the most turnovers committed in the NFL, the most interceptions in the NFL, the second fewest passing yards, the fourth fewest rushing attempts, the second fewest amount of plays run as an offense in the NFL this season, the second worst third down defense, with a first-time starting quarterback starting 9 games, a veteran corpse of a quarterback who was left for dead at one point this season, and a UDFA QB who was forced to start 2 games. And meanwhile, reversing every Vikings jinx of all time, they probably have the best kicker in the NFL. All right? Mm-hmm. He has 60 of 62 kicks. He's perfect on extra points. Will Reichert has missed 2 kicks all season long. He's been absolutely nails. Between a kicker and Brian Flores cooking up maybe his most dangerous stew that's not going to be, going to the playoffs, unfortunately, those 2 individuals have carried maybe the most anemic offense in the NFL to a 500 record with 1 game to play. The Vikings defense, obviously now throughout the totality of the season, like they're 10th overall from the beginning of the year in points allowed. They're 5th in yards. They do have the number 1 red zone defense. That's been the case for all season, which is impressive.
Fifth ranked third down defense as well. Situationally great defense.
And they didn't allow a passing touchdown in 7 games. I mean, when you look at it, and this is not to discredit what Brian Flores and Will Reichert have accomplished this season. It's to point out this team is 500 and maybe one of the best 4th place teams in their division in NFL history in terms of just wins. And here they are with the most anemic offense. So it's an improbable thing. We've never seen something like this before. That's my hottest take.
So what does that, when you start to kind of do the autopsy on this, and I haven't seen the early line yet, but like they could beat the Packers next weekend. They're on a roll. If they play defense like this, they could finish 9-8 like Declan's laying out. And if at the end of the year you're staring down the barrel of one of the best defenses in the league, your kicker's doing all the offensive work over here, and you have this anemic, embarrassing offense where you can barely cross the 50-yard line unless Harrison Smith picks off a pass at the 48,
Yes.
And obviously Kevin O'Connell's going to point to, hey, we can't do this again with these young quarterbacks, and I'll take some responsibility for it, but like we got to get a real NFL quarterback in here. That'll probably be his pitch. But isn't that wild? Like you have this offensive-centric quarterback guru, supposedly head coach, and even with subpar options at that position, I would expect more than what we've seen throughout they have, I think, in a third of their games not racked up 200 total yards of offense. In a third of their games. It's like 5 games, maybe 6, that they have not gotten to 200 yards of total offense.
It's crazy.
And if I'm a Wilf, I'm looking at the $300+ million in cash we spent on this team. A lot of it on offense too. And I'm scanning the Pro Bowl list that came out too with my reading glasses. Oh, the Pro Bowlers came out. Oh, it was an exciting day.
Yeah.
It's great. Let's see how many Vikings players are on here. How many? 0, right?
Yes.
They're one of 3 teams with
Saints
0
and
Pro
Jets.
Bowlers too.
It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible. Like the All-Pro team, very difficult to make. The Pro Bowl,
And they might, maybe they get a Will Reichert might be it's not
an
even a game
alternate,
anymore.
an alternate. But I mean, we're talking about the initial announcement. They had 0, no one on offense, no one on defense. To your point, to go back to what you spent in free agency, like somebody didn't. Justin Jefferson. I was talking to our guy Seaford about this last night. Justin Jefferson, okay, should make the Pro Bowl almost every year based on reputation. And you look at his stats, and you should be like, okay, not his greatest year. His stats are so bad, so anemic. He didn't make the Pro Bowl.
It's a long shot for him to get to 1,000 yards. I think.
I know,
because he needs like 55 more yards.
I know.
And they had how many passing yards gross did they have? Was
4,
it
like 12?
net was 3.
Oh,
but like how many? If you take away the sack yardage, did they even have 50 passing yards gross yesterday?
I would need to look.
So
gross is the key word.
Disgusting
Gross
is
is
actually
absolutely.
it was 51. 51
Okay.
if and then it was 48 sack yards, 51 passing yards for a net of 3. And Jefferson needs more than that himself to get to 1,000 yards, I believe, against the Packers next weekend.
And how nuts, Dex, too, and Phil, how nuts is, 15 years from now, when you've sort of forgotten about this season, and you go and look at Jefferson's career arc, right? And you're going to find it this season, and you're going to think to yourself, what happened there?
Yeah. Even
It's nearly impossible.
Phil brought up the 2015 Broncos with fluttering Peyton Manning and an insanely good defense. Even though that was also a rough offense, they were 19th in points. They were 16th in yards. So like they
Their
still moved
offense
the ball.
was?
Yeah, that offense was.
Yeah.
And Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, 2 guys, both over 1,000 yards receiving. So like they still had like playmakers there making plays for them. They just had I'll use the word corpse again. Corpse of Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler, QB wins baby. Were helping drag them to a Super Bowl. But like that offense at least had like their star players and Demaryius Thomas putting up an insane 105 catch, 1,300 yard season in 2015. You're not even getting 1,000 yard season from Jefferson. You have Aaron Jones who's gutting things out, but like you don't have like a stud at running back either. So it is I think very damning on Kevin O'Connell for that.
Yeah, I get that like a lot of this is on they don't have quarterbacks that are ready to just process at that level yet or stay healthy yet. I think the biggest thing for McCarthy is 3 different season pausing injuries, not counting the meniscus that paused his career for the first year. I think if you had a fully healthy McCarthy for all 17 games, I do think it's worth an extra win or 2, even as he's working through the growing pains, because he at least showed the ability, maybe not to Jefferson as much, that in some of these games he's able to get the ball out and kind of chunk down the field. Brosmer was literally not even able to get the ball out in the 2 games he played.
Oh, no, that's a different... Yeah.
Like, can't even complete a pass.
Correct.
So it's a different level of anemic with him. But yeah, it all like both of these takes kind of go back to, it's like defense great. Oh, what are we doing here? Is there anyone that can convert a first down with their arm on a 3rd and 7? And JJ McCarthy was doing some of that, but can't stay on the field.
What happens? Where are we at right now with this team? And this might sound crazy, but if Carson Wentz doesn't get hurt and he keeps the starting job, where are we right now? Because Carson Wentz is what I would call at times a professional quarterback disaster. But that's different. Like Brosmer is like a guy off the street. Like he literally is running for his life. He has no idea what to do. It's a different. There's the McCarthy bin. I'm young and I'm not great yet. I've got potential. And you see him and you're like, this is a disaster. And then the football gods are like, oh, hold on a second. You think that's a disaster? Let's have Max Brosmer start. And now you're like, oh, give me McCarthy. He sort of gets it. But where are we at right now if Carson Wentz doesn't get hurt and O'Connell just decides to stick with him? Are the Vikings in the playoff race?
So your question at its core is really poking at the McCarthy-Brosmer games and trying to figure out, well, two things. Do you flip any of the losses to wins? But also with Carson Wentz, just as easily, do you flip any of those wins to losses?
I'm asking the question.
I don't know that it's better. Like, so on the losses with McCarthy.
Yep.
So we'll start with like kind of middle of the season there. McCarthy took back over the Detroit game. They won it. I actually think that Carson Wentz might have lost that game in Detroit if he was the quarterback. Yeah. So you flip one right there. Do you flip the losses to Baltimore, Chicago, Green Bay to wins? Well, maybe one of the Baltimore or Chicago game, maybe.
The Chicago game, I think, which, I mean, again, to go back to just like the opener where the Vikings came back and won in the fourth quarter, McCarthy had some nice passes late, but I remember that game as being, for the most part, a three-quarter just awful game. So
and I was thinking more of the home Chicago game that you lost 19-17.
Yes, but didn't McCarthy struggle throughout that game and then get hot late in that game? But then again, I get the Wentz point. He could have thrown 4 picks. I'm just asking the question, with the way the defense is playing right now, where would you be with Wentz if he had just stuck as the starter and his shoulder hadn't essentially fallen off his body?
I think it's more of a McCarthy conversation than a Wentz conversation. Like if McCarthy could have given you 17 healthy games this season, I think they're like a 10-7 team. And you look back at the totality, and much like with a lot of young quarterbacks, and you're sitting there thinking, okay, well, of those 17 games, 7 were really rough. 5 of them were really high end, like the Dallas game and the Washington game. And then the other handful were kind of in the middle, but the defense clicked midseason and figured it out going forward. So that's kind of I think if you give Carson Wentz at that age, kind of just like what we've seen him bouncing around 6 different teams, if you give him a full slate of 17 games, I don't think it's better than the 17 games of J.J. McCarthy. But that's obviously a subjective opinion.
Just wanted to throw it out there.
Yeah,
the 4-game losing streak, right, from the Ravens through the Seahawks games, where McCarthy started 3 of them, did not start the Seattle game. Obviously, Brosmer started that game. The Vikings offense turned the ball over 13 times total in those 4 games. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's hard for me to assume that Carson Wentz couldn't also turn the ball over a lot. But, I mean, the game plan in that Packers game, right? Like, all right, so they beat the Lions. They lose the Ravens, but, you know, they put up 365 yards of offense. They probably beat the Bears if it wasn't for a special teams gaffe. But the Packers game was really bad, and then the Seahawks game, they just had no shot with Brosmer having to start and throwing pick sixes and a bunch of interceptions. So, yeah, I don't know. It's tough to answer, Judd, like black and white wise, but I do think there's a world he comes back. If they can't find the backup they're looking for, I could see a world where he's back here again.
Yep.
I'm good. I'm good.
I mean, I'm personally good on that as well, but I could see that happening.
Before we get to Judd's hottest take, and Chef Mackey here has a pie chart for you guys. Let's shout out North American Banking Company here. North American Banking Company, here to give you a better banking experience. And you might be thinking, it's a local banking company, right? It's kind of like a community banking situation. Can they really have better or even equal online tools that value the safety and security of your accounts as some of the other banks? And the answer is yes, absolutely. And I can speak from experience. I love the app, the North American Banking Company app, and it's better than the old national banking app that shall go nameless that I was fumbling around with for a number of years. And you can just get a better, more human local banking experience with North American Banking Company. NAbankcode.com/Mackey to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Maybe you can make some money to put in your bank accounts through underdog decks this weekend.
That's right. Yeah, it's unwrapped. It's been going on all holiday season long through the rest of the month of December. In fact, let's see what it is right now. I'm going to open up the app. Your deal awaits. It's the NBA deal of the day. Flip a card to reveal a discount. What do we got here? Who do I want to pick?
It's Scott Foster. Unnecessary ejections, 2.5. Let's see if we can.
Let's go Jaylen Brown. Look at that. We went from 41.5 points, rebounds, and assists to now 35.5. So that's the beauty of Underdog. That's unwrapped. That's also the tokens and things that hop into your lobby. Sign up with promo code SCORE. SKOR. Play $5, get $75 in bonus entries as well. And yeah, keep sending me your screenshots of your wins. I love to see them. Go sign up at Underdog with promo code SCORE.
Here's a food idea for the remainder of this holiday stretch. Green Mill Pizza. Green Mill Pizza, the iconic Green Mill restaurant brand that many of you are already familiar with. You can get these tavern-style pizzas, Extreme Supreme, Il Primo, hand-tossed pepperoni, meat lovers. Fantastic. Unique recipes, premium ingredients. You can get these in the grocery store now, the freezer section. Bring them home, throw them in the oven or the pizza oven, 16, 17 minutes to get the golden brown on the edges, and cut them into squares like a good Minnesotan. Learn more at greenmillfoods.com for these Green Mill tavern-style pizzas. All right, Judd, take us home.
This is hard because it's not positive, but it's a reality that I feel as a Vikings historian must be put on the record as my hottest take.
Okay.
Max Brosmer's 2 starts this season are the worst 2 starts the Vikings have gotten from a quarterback in nearly a quarter of a century. We are now in Spergon Wynn territory. Firmly.
Are they both worse than Spergon Wynn? Or are you saying the collective experience?
This is
Max
the worst
Brosmer?
since Spergon Wynn. So Spergon Wynn was atop the chart by himself. He was on the podium. He had won the gold medal of ineptitude, and now here comes Max Brosmer to share that gold. They both made 2 starts. The similarities are incredible. Okay, so in 2001, when the Vikings were falling apart. Denny Green left. Mike Tice came in at the time on an interim basis. And Spergon Wynn got into the last 3 games, but he only started the last 2. And the last one was actually the Baltimore game, which was the makeup from the September 11th weekend when week 2 was pushed back because of the tragedy. Spergon Wynn then thus started, just like Max had, 2 games. Green Bay and Baltimore. He completed 40.7% of his passes for 200 yards. This is 2 starts, not 1. With a touchdown, 5 picks, sacked 6 times, and a passer rating in those 2 losses of 20.4. Max Brosmer's completion percentage is higher. It's 60.9% because he's thrown only 46 passes. Essentially, O'Connell yanked the rug and said, "You're not passing." Spergon Wynn threw 59, all right? But he has somehow, in that time, he has fewer yards passing in his 2 starts. 200 for Spergon Wynn, you'll recall I said? 177 for Brosmer. Brosmer, no touchdowns, 4 picks. He has been sacked 11 times. And I bring up sacks because quarterback ineptitude does lead to sacks. Like, yes, the offensive line's not great. I get that. But but when you get the ball and you are starting to run for your life immediately, the offensive line is not the problem here.
Well, sacks are more of a quarterback stat than an offensive line stat. I think, period, but also more than people think.
When they're huge, especially. Like when it's 7, you're sacked 7 times, you can't be all 7 offensive line sucks. And Max Brosmer's passer rating is 32.6. So congratulations, you beat out Spergon Wynn. But these are these 2 starts by each quarterback, separated by 24 years. So again, almost a quarter of a century. Unbelievable. And the stats that came out last night on Brosmer are also phenomenal. I'll give you one from OptaStats. Max Brosmer is the only National Football League quarterback in the Super Bowl era, so 1970, to play the entire game and finish with under 70 passing yards and 7+ sacks, and yet still win the football game.
Let's hang the banner.
QB wins, baby.
And it goes on.
Quarterback wins.
It goes
And
on.
this-
So here. I
Actually,
got
you know what?
it.
They did.
I'll
They
wave
did
it.
win.
Yeah,
So let's.
And they
yeah.
did win. So I'll wave the
Quarterback
flag for
wins,
you.
baby.
This is actually to the QB wins thing. There's always a debate about like is quarterback wins a stat. This is a perfect example of why QB wins in small samples, not something you want to put too much stock into. I will contest though that QB wins over 100, 120,
Yes.
150
Agreed.
starts.
Yes.
The most influential position in the sport. The wins and losses do start to reflect, for the most part, whether that quarterback is a badass or not. But he did pick up his first win, though. He did pick up his first.
He did, and he said, it takes everybody to contribute, and it's like, yeah, but we
certainly does.
But we would like if you had contributed just a little bit. I feel bad for the guy because he's so overmatched. But I mean, this is impressive. We talk about Spergon Wynn in this town. He's revered as being one of the worst. And just for those of you saying, "Oh, come on, what about Josh Freeman?" Only one start. Ordinarily, if you're this bad, they pull the plug.
And Josh Freeman, let's see here. What did he pull up his? That was the last start he ever made in the NFL.
Yeah,
wasn't
and
it?
Josh Freeman had a decent start.
Oh no, he
his
did start 2 years later. He made a start for the Colts.
Oh wow,
15 of 28. It was in place of like an injured Andrew Luck. Did Ryan Grigson make that? I think Ryan Grigson brought in Josh Freeman.
Well,
in Indy.
That's the final strike right there. If I was looking for one more strike against the Grigger.
So the Grigger.
The Grigger.
So
Grigger.
The big Grig. So Josh Freeman was 20 of 53 in that infamous Monday night game. 38% completions. But he did throw because he was hunting down the field.
Yes, he was.
And he was hunting in the upper deck. He threw for 190 yards and only took one sack. That's wildly impressive. They dropped him back 54 times. He got to the building on a Tuesday.
You're right.
They dropped him back 54 times, and he only took one sack.
I had forgotten that. That's remarkable.
Yeah. Ball
You know
out.
what?
Ball out.
You know what? Let's go back and praise him.
Is there
let's read
is there a
if you're
world where
organized here.
John Wolford starts the finale?
It sounds like O'Connell is hoping that McCarthy can start to practice and play, which I think is crazy.
So he has a hairline fracture in his throwing hand.
But they keep saying it's small. It's still a fracture. Why would you play him?
Well, the reason why you would play him is because you've already decided that you're going in a different direction anyways at starter. And I think we can, in the coming days here, because we've got some time to breathe between this and the Packers game. So in the coming days, there is a discussion about Kevin O'Connell is sitting in there and he's giving out game balls and he's having to apologize for his offense and praise this incredible defensive performance week after week after week.
Yes.
It's embarrassing. This is as a human, as a guy with an ego who does this for a living, right? Like, not that he deserves blame for a lot of this too. But if you're looking to never have this happen ever again, the only way that you can for sure avoid it is to not lean on 21 and 24-year-old quarterbacks who've never done this before. So like a performance like that by Brosmer yesterday, I think actually makes it less likely that J.J. McCarthy is the starting quarterback in week 1 of 2000, just because he's kind of lumping young quarterbacks who can't do the calculus at a high level or can't speak the 3,000 level class language together as one big season mess. And I don't want to do that again, ever. If I can win 8 or 9 games with that mess, imagine what I could do back to the 13-14 win seasons with someone who's been in the league for 7 or 10.
And Flores was like, excuse me,
years.
Excuse me, your 8 wins, excuse me, those came from me.
Yeah. Well, hell, I mean, if he's building out his resume for head coaching jobs, he's going to say, listen, guys, I don't want to disrespect my guy Kev because he hired me and helped me get back to these head coaching interviews. But we were running out historically bad quarterback play, and we still won 8 or 9 games because of my defenses.
Yes.
Hire me, and I will fix your crappy defense, and we will go to the playoffs together. B-Flow.
I said this on Vent Line. I believe it. And this is part of the problem. If I'm B-Flow, and I'm not going to get a head coaching job, and I have, 4 teams courting me to pay me big bucks to be their DC, and I'm talking about coming back here, you're going to have to tell me what your quarterback plan is, because I'm not coming back to this again.
Yeah.
So
he deserves that opportunity
Sure.
as a coordinator or a head coach to test out his value. He's done a hell of a job.
But this is where it's not as simple as saying O'Connell just needs to decide, and if he can develop, if he likes McCarthy, just continue down that path. And I've seen that a lot. But this is a lot of people. The Wilfs, are you sure about that? And if McCarthy this is the biggest problem. If McCarthy gets hurt one more time early in the season, let's say, of 26, it's not going to be excused. Oh, he's hurt. It's too bad. They're going to say, you had an injury-prone quarterback and you did this. So there's a lot of people with a lot at stake here because of this. And it can't just be like, bring back McCarthy and that's it. I think he deserves to come back. I think you could probably have him compete for a job, but it cannot be a rigged competition.
So much gone. There's just the off season is flying up in the rearview mirror right now.
Big game hunting. Big game hunting.
It's with a performance like that yesterday, it makes that even more likely. Like I just said, Chef Mackey here.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
Has a pie chart for you guys.
Nice.
And I'll dish it right now, and then we can get to our nitpicks to end the show. And thank you guys for hanging out with us here, smack dab in the middle of the holiday season. It was fun spending Christmas with Purple Daily listeners yesterday, and maybe you've just discovered Purple Daily here in the last couple weeks. Click that subscribe button and the like button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. We also have a bunch of other podcasts as part of the Score North Network. Thor Talks Purple, I believe another episode dropping today. You can find that Apple, Spotify, and the Score North YouTube channel. Judd's Hockey Show, we have some... We're still waiting a little bit to announce the fun Judd's Hockey Show news, or...
It's out there.
It's out there now?
Okay.
It's out there.
We have launched a new YouTube channel for Judd's Hockey Show.
That's right.
That starting in a couple weeks, that will be the place for all of the YouTube episodes. We're giving like a 2-week buffer here to tell people, but the Wild are exciting. And so if you're a hockey fan, it's just youtube.com/@Judd's Hockey Show. Flagrant Howls is going to have an episode dropping today reacting to what happened last night. We got the Score on Our Twin Show, Royce Unchained, a bunch of other fun podcasts. Football Takes, O-line committee for your football fix. So this will be kind of a quick pie chart.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
It's for the 4-game win streak. I'm lumping these 4 wins together rather than just doing like slices for all the defensive players who dominated yesterday. I'm gonna break this into it's a 4-game win streak pie chart of praise for the Minnesota Vikings, starting with 15% to Kevin O'Connell for committing to running the football more often with his inexperienced young quarterbacks. Okay, let's maybe hand the ball off to Aaron Jones a little bit more over here. Let's pound that rock, even if it's not successful. Let's not bail on it. And I think the Vikings over those 4 weeks, by the way, have run the ball at the second highest rate of any team in the NFL. And I think it's effective for 2 reasons. One, it allows you to keep kind of moving forward, even in small increments, without taking losses or sacks or opening yourself up to mistakes or interceptions. It also keeps the clock moving, and you control possession and the ball when your defense is the main thing that is doing the work for winning these games. So props to Kevin O'Connell for finally kind of making that adjustment that we've been asking for the entire season. 20%.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
To Big Leg Bill, Will Reichert.
Oh, yeah.
Best kicker in the NFL. He is 9 for 9 field goals these last 4 weeks during this winning streak, including perfect from beyond 50. I believe he broke Blair Walsh's Vikings record for the most 50-yard made field goals in a season.
He did, single season.
So you've got this nails kicker, and unfortunately you can't bust him out in January when the games really matter. You're going to have to wait for another season.
I wanted I think it was the 67-yard attempt last night.
Me too.
I really wanted that bad. I want a 70-yard attempt. Yeah. I want him. Someone's going to make it, and it might as well be him.
He's got the leg.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's why we call him Big Leg Bill. So 20% to him.
Okay.
And then I'm going to give 25%.
Rock knows how you feel about pie.
There's a bunch of individual defensive players we could highlight here, but I'm going to say, much like the halftime show yesterday, was Snoop and friends. I'm giving 25% to Harry the Ginkster and their friends, but specifically singling out Harrison Smith and Andrew Van Ginkel the last few weeks for just being impossible to read and identify, even for veteran quarterbacks. Are they blitzing? Are they dropping back into coverage? Oh, they're pouncing on a loose ball before anyone else even notices. Those guys have just been everywhere the last 4 weeks. And they have helped really swing the turnover margin too, the takeaway margin.
To go back to my Wentz question from before and change that to the defensive side of the ball, what is the Vikings defense like if Van Ginkel doesn't get hurt too?
How many games did he?
He missed a few games because it was a neck. It was a neck, I think, concussion thing, and he fell on his head against the Bears at Soldier Field in the opener, and he has a unique skill set.
Set of skills.
Yes, he
Particular set of
does.
skills.
He does. They're not. He's not a guy that you can just replace.
So he missed October basically.
Yeah.
He missed. Well, and he missed the Falcons game in week 2. Then he came back for the Cincy game, and then he missed October, where they were losing. That was the hard part of their. That was Europe. Do they flip one or two of those games?
Well, Pittsburgh was a winnable game.
Yeah.
It wasn't pretty. But it was winnable.
So he wasn't out there. Yeah, he wasn't out there to trick Rodgers again, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he's got that unique skill set.
Yeah. It's possible.
I just think his loss was probably an underappreciated, under-talked about, because he's Grenard going out is rough, but he can be replaced.
Yeah, he's a little more of a straightforward,
Correct.
He's an edge rusher. And Van Ginkel is a Swiss Army knife in this system. He's a perfect piece. Those guys have led the takeaway brigade here. The Vikings 12 takeaways in the last 4 games is tops in the NFL. So they have a +7 turnover margin as a team during the 4-0 stretch after being -15 in the first 12 games. And that right there is the most important stat in the NFL, is if you're just giving away possessions and they aren't, you're probably going to lose.
Yep.
And then the final slice of pie.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
For the 4-game win streak, Brian Flores, for orchestrating such a dominant defensive scheme. The takeaways, shutting down opposing passing games. Opposing quarterbacks have like a 63 passer rating against the Vikings over these last couple months. And it's not like they're going up against Max Brosmers. They're going up against Jared Goff and Dak Prescott. And there's a little Jackson Dart mixed in there.
Sure.
But Jaden Daniels came back and played in that Commanders game.
Goff was lost last night.
Yeah.
He was absolutely lost.
Yeah.
And he also, even in the losses, he made Sam Darnold look lost. Jordan Love struggles to kind of figure out what's happening against this defense. Caleb Williams had to put in a lot of mental gymnastics. So 40% Brian Flores.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
25% Harrison Smith, Andrew Van Ginkel, and their friends. 20% Big Leg Bill, and 15% Kevin O'Connell for the 4-game win streak. Pie chart of praise.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good point, the fact that, and I think he has no choice, but the fact that O'Connell finally has embraced the run more, I can only hope that continues. And I understand if he gets a quarterback that he likes more, a veteran guy, that he's going to be tempted to go back to what he does. But if there's a lesson to be learned, I think it's the run game. You had enough to use the run game far more consistently. We've talked about that. It's not like it was a disaster. You elected not to use it, and it bit you in the butt. So I hope if I have a Christmas wish or a New Year's wish and a resolution for Kevin, it is don't abandon the run no matter who your quarterback is.
Yeah. I mean, the last 4 weeks, totally different story on the splits. And even like a game or two before the winning streak, he started to, after that Ravens debacle where they dropped back like 48 times and just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
He started to, someone either talk to him behind the scenes or he had an epiphany. And I'm not saying it has to be extreme now the other way, where not because now the last 4 weeks they are one of the two most run-heavy teams in the league. There's a middle ground there somewhere, but he either believed for the first 3.5 years as a play caller that running the football was like an overrated aspect to winning football games philosophically, or it's his ego as a quarterback guy and a passing game sommelier that this is the way I want it. I want to win doing this because this is more either this is a bigger tip to my ego or it's more aesthetically pleasing or something. It's like, dude, you get credit as a head coach for just like getting to the right solution for why you're.
And he said that last night. His post game, he said that. He talked about, he basically was trying, because the game was so bad offensively, he basically said, as a coach, I've learned there's different ways to win games. He's essentially saying, we'll take it. Well, if that's what you'll do, then yes, then run the football. It doesn't need to look good.
Yeah. I mean, is anyone looking over at the Rams and saying, oh, man, boy, you guys, looks like you bailed on your high-flying 3 wide receiver sets over there.
Of course not.
Oh, you have to do it with 3 tight ends now, Sean? Oh, yeah, it's like, no, people are praising him for, wow, Sean McVay has, like, made a couple innovative twists over the last couple years. He's always ahead of the curve, that Sean McVay, finding new ways to win football games.
Yes.
It's like, anyways, that's your pie chart.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
We'll get to our, I guess it would be nitpicks because they won the game yesterday. We'll get to nitpicks here, hanging out with you guys live on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Game Day Men's Health, especially this time of year where a lot of people are like, oh, I'll just put off feeling better into 2026. Well, Game Day Men's Health has helped me so much since I turned 40 and probably felt older than that over the past several years. But decreased energy, mental fog. This is the best I have felt physically and mentally in years. And I credit Game Day Men's Health, which I started working with in like the middle of August, I want to say, or the beginning part of August. The best sleep scores I've ever had since tracking back like 7 years ago. The best my energy has felt, especially middle of the day, kind of mid-afternoon. Locations in Edina, Minnetonka, and Roseville. You don't have to feel like crap, guys. I think we just, I'm 40, I'm 45, I'm 50. I guess I'm just going to feel like crap now. You don't have to. Game Day Men's Health will help get to the bottom of whatever it is that you are looking for, whether it's low T, weight loss solutions, treatment for ED. If you mention that Purple Daily sent, you get a free vitamin shot at your first visit and a free T-test consultation. GameDayMen'sHealth.com/Purple Daily. Federated Insurance also powering these hottest takes here today. Federated specializes in working with small and medium-sized businesses, the backbone of America. And they also work with next-generation business owners. So if you recently took over a family business, or maybe that's on the horizon for you, maybe you're a younger business owner or leader, Federated can provide a valuable guiding hand for you and your company. Find out more at federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. And today here, December 26th, is the last day to take advantage of the Dickey's Barbecue $100 gift card deal, where you purchase a $100 gift card, get a $25 gift certificate free, and that deal ends today at Dickey's Barbecue Pit in Eagan. So if you still have friend or family gatherings on the horizon and you're looking for some good catering, some authentic Texas-style barbecue, beef brisket, juicy pulled pork.
I just want it. Forget someone else.
Ribs. Football. That's right. Just for Dex and Sonny.
Just for me.
Just plowing some spicy cheddar sausage. It's 866 barbecue, all spelled out. 866 barbecue, or order online at dickies.com. So, Dex, why don't you give us a nitpick off yesterday?
So, my nitpick is, I can't believe it took 16 games for the Vikings offense to finally have a touchdown of more than 33 yards.
And a run for more than 30 yards. Or whatever.
Longest rush of the season, 65 yards. So Jordan Addison's 65-yard rushing touchdown was by the way, the number 1 and 2 longest touchdowns of the season were from Isaiah Rodgers in the Bengals game. So his 87-yard pick six and his 66-yard fumble recovery are the 2 longest distance touchdowns on defense. Another feather in the cap for Flores to say, my God, man, even I'm better at making bigger plays than your offense. But Addison had a 65-yard rushing touchdown. That beat Josh Oliver's 32-yard touchdown pass against the Browns all the way back in October. And if you go back to 2024, the Vikings had at least 9 touchdowns of 30-plus yards, 7 of them from the offense. 2 of them last season were defensive touchdowns of 62 and 36 yards. But the big play element of this offense it's been hard to find. Jordan Addison with the big rush yesterday, so it was nice to see finally a big touchdown there from Addison. You're muted, Jed.
Hey, Jed.
Can someone? Yep. Okay, I'm back. Hi, folks. Sports Dad here. Can someone explain to me Jordan Addison, his 65-yard touchdown run last night was his second carry of the season. His first went for 16 yards. I believe we talked in training camp about he has the build to get the ball more, find ways, right? Yeah. What? Why? Why wouldn't you go to this more? It's not like some gimmicky trick play that you put on film and now it's like, okay, that's being stopped for sure.
Yeah,
like
it wasn't. By the Paul Allen called it a trick play, I think, on the broadcast.
Not a trick play.
It was not. I love how the Vikings, because they don't do enough of that in the modern NFL, where like it's called a jet sweep.
Right.
So you're going to have your fast edge offensive player come take a handoff, and for the Vikings, it's apparently a trick play now. Not to rip Paul, but like they don't run it enough.
Did you guys see him hit that edge and turn that corner?
Dude,
yeah,
yes.
I think 19 miles an hour, I think is what the TV broadcast clocked.
I mean, my legs would have fallen off.
Well,
your hamstrings would have popped. You would have fallen.
Yes, I would. I'd be dead. I'd be dead this morning. I mean, that dude hit that thing and jetted off. Where was this?
To Judd's point, so Jordan Addison, 3 years in the NFL, he has rushed the ball 6 times. He has 103 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. So, like when he has gotten opportunities to take handoffs, jet sweeps, he typically does bust out a big play.
Yeah, it's there's little glimpses of creativity here and there that you see. It's like a lot of it. Some of the more wacky trick plays where you're gonna throw a ball all the way across the field over here. Like, all right, whatever. Judd's been kind of on that, the criticism wagon, but jet sweeps to fast offensive players when you're trying to just kind of go above and beyond the simplistic run designs. Yeah, let's do it. But you want to go next with your nitpick?
You know what? I would like to petition the committee to turn my nitpick time into a second hot take off the field. Very positive.
Okay, yeah.
I'll allow it.
Okay, thank you. It's this. Last night's halftime show was the best halftime show in the history of U.S. Bank Stadium. That includes the Super Bowl.
Well,
yeah.
Justin Timberlake.
JT.
Okay.
It was JT.
It was a pretty good halftime show.
Mm-hmm. It was a pretty good halftime show. I thought last night's, the production, the Snoop and Friends, the surprise guests, I thought it was outstanding. I thought that yes. Yeah, but I mean, it was all cool. It was really well done. The sound wasn't bad, and that place notoriously, I think, has had some acoustic problems. But anyway, I think that was the best halftime show that's been produced in that stadium, including the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought Snoop was just going to kind of, because Snoop is everywhere doing everything.
Right.
He's, dare I say, a little oversaturated, I feel like, in the mainstream entertainment market. But
yes,
it was good to bring out that many different kind of parts of musical entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was going to jump in and show off some crazy vocal range with the Bocellis. I was like, oh my God, has he been like practicing?
But see, I like that fact though. Like you thought that might be coming up. That's
he's
great.
Gonna jump. He's gonna sing the high harmonies with Andrea Bocelli. Yeah, I'll give you. It's not a hot take. It's more back to a nitpick off of the Netflix production. I appreciate what they were going for with bringing the legends in via Zoom calls, like Barry Sanders. You probably didn't see this because
I saw
at
Barry Sanders occasionally
and Chris Carter
on the screen, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
They did this in the first game too. So it's just, you're in the middle of the game. It's like the third quarter, and Chris Carter with his dog is on answering some just basic questions about his career or whatever. It's almost like they felt like we needed a distraction from I think it might have been a last-minute decision. Maybe I'm wrong on this. Oh, boy, we got some bad backup quarterbacks here. What other bells and whistles can we put on the? Let's get Barry Sanders in here. Let's get Chris Carter in here.
Yeah.
I don't know. At one point, Penei Sewell was like one of the best offensive linemen in the league, is writhing around on the ground in pain. Did they just lose Penei Sewell for this year and next year? I don't know, because Chris Carter is talking about his Christmas tree in the background.
Yeah, I actually was really disappointed. It was it Noah or Ian on the call? Which Eagle was on the call yesterday?
It was Noah.
Noah was. Sorry, I got it mixed up. I thought the broadcast in general was not great. Like there was the Sewell thing that was happening. There was one of the other ones where they clearly were short of the first down, and I and Drew were like, oh yeah, they got the first down. I guess they're a yard short. Couldn't tell there. I didn't think the broadcast crew was great yesterday. I did not enjoy it. I like Seth Rollins being out there more than anyone else, to be honest, and he's a Bears fan.
Drew Brees is not the greatest. I think he's better than he was when he first started.
He's improved. Yeah.
Noah is a star in the making. I mean, Noah is like I don't even think that dude's 30 years old, and he's out here. He's really also he does a ton of research, obviously, because he made a couple references to Drew Brees, like, oh, I bet when you see a throw like that, it must remind you of Marquez Colston. You know, he's pulling players from when he was probably 14 years old. But it's possible Noah Eagle was like doing play-by-play in his living room when he was 14 years old while Dad was off to work.
He's 29. He just turned 29.
He's
2 weeks.
He's
ago.
very good,
and
I
like him in general. But I thought yesterday was just, I don't know, it just felt sloppy. It just didn't feel as. I guess I had higher expectations.
Well, there's a good chance that these production teams are kind of thrown together as these are one-offs, and so the chemistry between everyone involved on screen and behind the scenes, a lot of these people, it's possible, have not worked together really, so they're trying to figure out communication patterns.
And Netflix carries 2 games per season on Christmas Day now. They pay $150 million total per year, and they are definitely going bells and whistles, which can be okay, but it can be much. I've noticed, at least on the Vikings road games this year, and I don't know if I've just picked up on this or it's been a long-standing thing. There are in-game things that, because the production is so fast, are just simply missed. Like, people will come out of games and it takes them forever. Like, just fundamental things that you would think that somebody, a spotter, would be watching for. And you eventually get an update, but it's like, that guy came out 15 plays ago. Like, it's a very important part of the game here. And so,
sorry, Diana's over there trying on Seth Rollins,
Santa
Parka.
Yeah.
I know Penei Sewell might have just died on the field.
And that's not just a Netflix thing, though. I feel like there have been games on Fox and CBS, too, where things are just missed for a lengthy period of time. It's like, I'm really here to watch the game, especially if it's like a noon kickoff game.
Yeah. If you're going to have Barry Sanders in the building, like in the booth, awesome. Cool. He can join for like a half a quarter. But if we're going to zoom him in, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
And the Chris Carter stuff, I mean, all fluff. Like, oh, Chris, you're a great career. And you look at this lineage of all these great Vikings wide receivers. It was just like a butter up interview. Like, nothing was substantial from that conversation at all.
Chris does not play ball. Chris is like, he's a super cantankerous. Yes. He's not a likable guy. Let's just be honest. Yep. He's a legendary football player. He's not a likable guy. And you could even tell in some of his answers, like, Chris, what do you ever think about being in this, being in an offense like this and what it would be like? And he's like, no, I don't. I'm comfortable with where my career's at. He also said, he took a shot at McCarthy.
Did he again?
He said,
he's unbelievable.
He said, my concrete is dried. So I think I'm good.
He cannot stand McCarthy. He has dumped on JJ.
It's hilarious. My concrete is dried. Anyways, those are your nitpicks here. On top of hot takes and a pie chart. And this weekend, be on the lookout for the best of Purple Daily from 2025, which includes some fun arguments, some fun Purple Daily Anonymous tip line stuff.
Oh, nice. From
early in the year. Judd being unable to find his notes for an ad read that we thought was
scripts.
Funny.
I think a couple times. I think there's a couple of those.
Yeah, that happened at least twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we'll see you guys also we'll do kind of an abbreviated feedback episode this weekend as well. So for Judd, for Dex, I'm Phil. Happy holidays, everyone. Thanks for being a part of the Purple Daily community where we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.